mental gymnastics, I would say, that we go through, and
Absolutely.
I just want to help the people by giving them more information and just addressing these topics, because to see actual men in their household, like, what would you say that your experience is like actually being in the household, being a provider, being um a leader in your household and leading your family and wanting the best for your family? What give us some, some knowledge on your experience, and what would you suggest for, millennials like myself, or the youth that are coming up today that are faced with so many different social media mindsets that aren't even, they're not valid. You know what I'm saying? They're not valid.
Right, right. Well, see, for me, I'm in my early 40s. For anyone that may be hearing this information, like it was key because I noticed even growing up, in the 80s, I was born in 81, like growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I was kind of like the only kid, me and my brother, and I got two sisters. We were kind of like the only people in the neighborhood that had the mom and the dad in the house. And then they would always be like, everybody can kind of tell, like whenever you have like that balance, like that person, a lot of times, and this is even proven statistically, that a lot of times that kid comes up a little bit more well-rounded, a little bit more calm. You know what I mean? Because they have like that, not that they're better, that's not what it is, but they have like that masculine, presence, and you have like that feminine presence. See, going back to the concept, you know what I'm saying, of the yin and the yang. You see, that's where it starts. That's where the union, you know what I'm saying, begins at. See, for me, I learned a lot of different things, like how, the role of the father, you know what I'm saying, to a degree, from my father. He was always there, he was always working, you know what I'm saying, he was always in the picture and stuff like that. And see, I also learned from my father, the more successful, a man is, a lot of times it's based off and according to how much the man can handle.
Mm.
You see, all the way down to whether whether you got 7 or 8 kids, can you manage that? Whether you have 7 or 8, different streams of income, can you manage it? See, a lot of people, they can do it, they can start it, but can you manage it? You know what I'm saying? And for those who are in, into another lifestyle, maybe another religion, and those who are involved in like, polyamory or like polygamy, can you manage, having 2 or 3 women? You know what I'm saying? It's easy for us to say that we can do it, but these are things that don't really come easily, according to what I'm seeing and hearing, you know what I mean, and reading, what I'm saying, interacting with people who are actually involved in it. So it's a difference. See, these are skills and things that we have to cultivate, and we have to learn them, over a period of time. But I do feel like I had an advantage, but to a degree. So it's like you can have that upbringing, you know what I'm saying? You can have that information, but you have to, like, it's like you have to fall back on it. You have to stick with that information. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, you know, being true to yourself.
Mm.
So it's like me growing up. Yeah, we had, your petty drug dealers. You had your major drug dealers. I grew up with all that stuff. Petty crimes, all that stuff. But in the house, it was something different. I never seen, moms and pops. I never really seen them fight and argue, which I'm sure they did it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what that's like. I never seen moms and dad drinking, smoking, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Creating this abnormal environment. I don't know what it's like. See, but when you go outside of the house and you see those particular things, that's not you. So why would you adopt those particular mindsets and those habits? You know what I'm saying? See, these are programs that are being placed either through some type of system or either through some type of grid. So in other words, these programs and these systems may not even be your thoughts,
It's real.
you see, but you may not even be aware that, see, every thought that comes to us is not necessarily a part of who you are.
Mm.
You
It's
see,
real.
and the information that's here now, this is why it's so important. It's paramount that, that we actually deal with the issues currently that are actually creating, you know what I'm saying, the imbalance within our community. We're just gonna start with our community too, you know what I'm saying? And then just in general, doesn't matter the race of person, culture, ethnicity, it really doesn't matter, because all of these are basic principles, you know what I'm saying, of I would say, humanity or the family dynamic. So
Mm.
it has to start with the basic information and people understanding that, you know, you can't build any type of dynasty unless it starts with the family.
That's
So
real.
going back to the genetics and everything, see the information is also here now. So it's like we can talk about, we can talk about the information and what happened to us, and um slavery, post-slavery, Willie Lynch, Jim Crow, all of that era, and coming up to the present moment now, which would be the latest system that was in place would be based according to what they call Planned Parenthood, which
Mm.
started around the 1920s, but they really started with the experimentation around like 1916. And one of the first areas where they started it at was in New York, one of the biggest urban cities. See, the majority of the East Coast was
Mhm.
used as a breeding camp
Mm.
for what they call slavery, which they try to make it seem like it was so many slaves that were transported from Africa all the way through the Atlantic. Look, I was I was on the ocean. I know how the Atlantic Ocean goes. You're not gonna make it across that ocean like that. Trust me. Not that many people. You're not even if it's great weather. More than likely, you're gonna end up in multiple different places like they did. And if you run into any form of bad weather, or more than likely at that particular time, a wooden vessel, it's a wrap for you.
Yeah, they're not gonna make it.
You ain't you ain't gonna make it. So that right there, because I started doing a lot of research on all these particular things. I already know that the numbers that they were saying that came from Africa, or the Western countries of Africa, the information just doesn't line up. So a lot of it's false, and I think that narrative was thrown in there to kind of throw off that a lot of the Native Americans are, which what they want to call the African American.
Yeah,
Which, because think about it, I mean,
they were
any type
already
of
here.
government system,
Yeah, they were
we would, I
already
mean,
here.
we and not only were we already here, we were thriving.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a system of how we grew corn, pumpkins. You know what I'm saying? Like how we planted different foods. We had a system of how we grew them together, and then we also adapted this particular system to where they would learn how to grow within our climate, and so that they wouldn't be destroyed by disease, fungus, pests, and all these different things. See, we were that advanced as a group of people. See, the African American and the Native American is pretty much the same person. This is already proven that we were in North America for at least 60,000 years.
That's crazy.
Now tell that to the United States government. They're like, man, there's no way we could pay all of these people
It's
that.
not
You know what
possible.
I'm saying? It's like
When I did the
it's
numbers, it would be trillions. It would be
it
trillions.
would be
There's no
trillions.
way to give reparations. I think that's a fallacy. That's not ever happening. So I think that, definitely at this point we got to do it for ourselves, and we have to, team up and make it happen
Hmm.
as a team. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a team. And it's just the dynamic for me where I just feel like a lot of times, like I'm seeing, like just on social media, because I don't think this is happening in real life. Like, because I've met amazing women in my lifetime,
Hmm.
and then we'll come back to the family, but I've met amazing women that never tried to take advantage of me, never tried to break my pockets. I don't know if it's just the women that I've chose or the women that that fate allowed into my path, but I've never actually ran into
Right.
anybody who ever tried to take advantage directly of me. So I think that this is
Right.
it's a narrative, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's
Wow.
just we just gotta come together as a people and try to build and cultivate. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard one lady say, she was like, "Well, we like teach us how to run a business, teach us how to start a business." But at the same time, I think that it does also come down to the knowledge, because if if we don't know the knowledge and they don't know the knowledge, well, who's going to teach them the knowledge? You feel me? So that means that
For
it
real.
starts, like you said, with ourselves and in the household, teaching ourselves, teaching our spouses, teaching our children, teaching our friends, you know what I'm saying, our loved ones, and at
Hmm.
that point, it starts to all roll downhill. But then it takes a certain mindset of being able to digest the information. Because when I first started trading, in the finance market, right? And like how I
Hmm.
play in the finance sometimes or stocks, it took a couple months for me to actually be able to sit there without getting droned out. Now I can sit for hours and just listen to information and just soak it up and digest it. But before that, it
Hmm.
took a minute. So it takes actively seeking, it takes wanting to know more, it takes wanting to be better. And over time, it just starts to become like a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Learning, I believe learning just needs to become a hobby, and that'll be definitely another source
Absolutely.
in our backpack, you know what I'm saying, to take to be able to grow and to be able to cultivate more, because they're so far and few, because everybody, you know what I'm saying, I don't think that they want us to actually start businesses, but at the same time, businesses are what fuel the economy. So it's going to all come back to that, or we have to be workers. And that means that we have to trade time for money, which in turn means that we have to work forever. And the way that inflation is going on, we got to do something different. The people got to come together. So I think it's going to start with us. It's going to
Yeah.
start with the culture. It's going to start with us doing more research and providing more information to be able to, bring about
A-
this change.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it's going to happen this year. Yeah. So it's like this year is going to be a very, very pivotal year for a lot of people. See, whenever you have what they call, a solar eclipse, right?
Mhm.
Um, well, a total solar eclipse. It's basically a union of three energies. So you have the sun, and the moon. It's literally a conjunction. See, the universe has conjunctions all the time, but a lot of them are, it's like a lot of them are similar in nature, and then some of them bring in a new energy and a new frequency. This you can, if we were to create a template, right, of how the
Mhm.
next few years were going to go, kind of go back and look at 2017 to a degree,
Mm.
because that's when we had the last total solar eclipse. So in reference to like an astrology template, right? Astrology is really just knowing, it's like cycles, being able to study cycles within cycles. That's all it is. It's not the end all be all like some of these people are trying to teach. They're just going deeper and deeper and deeper into their humanity, and that's actually what you don't want to do, because the
Mm.
deeper and deeper you go into humanity, what'll happen is you'll stay in survival mode.
So the animalistic mindset.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you go back into what they call like the Sanskrit text, or anything in reference to what they call tantra, you will
Mm.
learn that we have like that reptilian brain, which is, or what they call like the animal brain. All of these things, which is basically connected with the ego. All of these things have to be refined.
Mm.
But if you're not aware of what you're dealing with, it's just like going back to us, you know what I'm saying? As a group of people, it's like these women, they have well, I'll say our women first, just women in general. But these women, they have a very, very hard task trying to figure out, man, will this guy be a great father? That's not an easy task,
Not a
you
task. It's
know?
an easy task, yeah.
And see, to switch gears too, like what you were saying, you've experienced, great women that never, had the desire, never really came off, as if they wanted to use you. But see, that's because, see, we don't all come to the planet with the same abilities. See, you have what's called like life path, north node, south node. In other words, abilities that you are naturally come to the planet with, and you're just thriving in those. That's what the north node and the south node is talking about. And the south node is talking about, things that you tend to um need to grow and to develop into
Mm.
certain things about our character, you know what I'm saying? Well, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying? See, these are these are kind of like, just like I was saying, templates. And we take this information, you know what I'm saying, and then we expand on it as we go deeper into our divinity.
Mm.
We're dealing with the etheric body, the the aura. You
Mm.
see, all of these particular things, that topics that we really can't dive into until we get people out of survival mode.
Got you.
See, whenever you get, it's like you got these women, like for an example, going back to like Planned Parenthood, which is still in action now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's just like, back to the lecture. This thing is in full force, and it's still going. So it's like, okay, the government says, okay, we'll provide all of those things for you, man, and we're willing to provide, monetary or financial profit. We're going to give you all of that, but you can't have the man living with you. Or in other words, for the people who don't know, they call it Section 8. So I'm sure everybody's familiar with what they call Section 8. Not judging any real systems that are in place, and then see people, they're just talking about it, and low key making fun of people who are on it. You know what I'm saying? Even though these, obviously people, they're not choosing to be in these situations. Nobody selects a guy and says, oh, we're gonna do with the females. Most females, they don't select a guy and go, well, whether he's a good guy or not, I'm just gonna go ahead and start having children with this guy. No,
No.
that's not. You see what I'm saying? That's not how it works. See, these things go all the way back to, you know, epigenetics. Okay, learn as well as learned behavior. See that they've been studying, just like you were saying. They've been studying the DNA, the RNA, epigenetics years. They I mean, possibly 500 or 600, 700 year jump on a group of people that's not even aware that
That
they've been
maybe even
studying you.
exists. They don't even know it.
Exactly.
People don't know it exists.
And this thing is something serious, because see, now, and not to get too far off the topic, but something's changing with the DNA now on the planet as we move into what NASA calls solar cycle 25.
Mm.
See, really what they're doing is they're talking in code. So in other words, as the sun, the sun, as the sun is releasing what they call coronal mass ejections, right? That means that every living organism on the planet that exists, including us, that means that something is changing within the molecule all the way down, which is the atom. So I don't know whether it's the proton or the neutron or the electron. I don't know. I don't have a lab. I wish I did, but I don't really know. But I do know all the way down to the mitochondrial level, to the nucleus, something is changing now, which is good, because we can also rewrite the codes within our DNA.
Mm.
Any form of traumatic experience, even anything that you experienced 5 to 10 years ago, you can go back and rewrite that and recode it, because they call them cells for a reason. It's just like a battery. You
They
know what
can
I'm
be
saying? Cells.
regenerated. They can regenerate. They can heal themselves. They can, yeah, re re what's the word? Reformat basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
See, they found this out whenever they did the experiment with the lady that's by the name of Henrietta Lacks. Look it up
Henry
whenever
and
y'all
a
get a
lax.
chance. Henrietta Lacks, because she was diagnosed with I forgot what form of cancer or whatever. And then they started doing research on, like, her cells. And then they found out that her cells were actually replicating and rejuvenating and healing themselves. Yeah. See, the people in other countries, they know that cancer is nothing more than a healing mechanism.
Mm.
See, certain countries, they turn it into a money making scheme. But
Because cancer can be healed. Cancer can be healed, but we all know that it's more profitable in order to, keep,
yeah,
what I'm saying? We all know that it's more profitable to keep the people on the medicine. We already, what I'm saying? We know that. So it's not hidden information. So, if y'all listen and
yeah,
don't, what I'm saying? Don't trip. You know what I'm saying? We all know it already. It's public. All right. But go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, and it's not to get too far off into that, but the information is here. And see, this is what I like to deal with. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever it is that you want to change in your life, or you want to even all the way down to reprogram, change your environment, change the way you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Being able to get to a higher level of existing, it goes back to expanding the body's capacity for information,
Mm,
creating stronger neural pathways within the brain, you know what I'm saying, the body as well, because we also have, these particular neural pathway neural centers within the stomach as well. So it's not just the brain. So it's the stomach and the brain, all of the organs. That's why they call them organs, because they're an organization of systems that
mm,
are actually designed for you. Because see, if you go to what they call TCM or traditional Chinese medicine, they speak directly to the organs.
mm.
In other words, they have certain colors that you can visualize and then send that energy into the organ, because each organ responds to
In
a
certain
color,
color. Wow.
which is a frequency. And
Mm,
see, everybody do this. That's why you see things popping up like what they call like orange therapy. You see? So for an example, like even if you look at the chakra system, and I'm gonna tell you, this this shit is not hidden information. The British government, they put millions and millions of dollars into the Indian government, or the people of India, into doing specific research and creating technology and information very similar to what they would call like an MRI, to see whether or not the chakras exist.
mm.
And all of it, and it's already see, this is scientifically proven, because the chakras deal with all of your programming.
That's true.
Yep. Root, sacral, solar, heart chakra, throat, third eye, and your crown chakra. So all of the information is here, you know what I'm saying, for everyone, you know what I'm saying, to be successful. See, this is why it's so much that needs to be talked about. It is literally impossible for anybody to hold anybody back now. It don't matter if you was enslaved for 5,000 years, or who enslaved you, or how they did it. And none of it's relevant. At this point, it's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? To a degree, but we do have to deal with the information. You know what I'm saying? Because we're dealing with DNA. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, we're dealing with, you could be looking at what, 6 or 7, 8, maybe 9 generations of trauma potentially. And then you turn around and then look, they look at black males like, for an example, they look at us like, man, y'all, some of y'all ain't really looking like the best fathers, but you don't really know what's in that person's DNA. I don't hear nobody talking about that one. I don't hear nobody talking about that one.
Well, let's chop it
Yeah.
up for them, Mark. You know what I'm saying? I know that they
Okay.
probably tired. They probably like, oh my gosh, they going crazy right now. But I know that the information is definitely going to find somebody who needs it, and I hope that it's definitely hitting home, and we're going to get a little bit more structured with it. But I would definitely say
Yeah.
definitely go and do some research on everything that
Mm-hmm.
we talked about today, because this is paramount information, and if it's new to you, start researching, start digging deeper, start looking for the answers. And as you seek, you'll find.